everyone, it's Ray here, City Fan TV, City Women Fan TV. Today we're talking to Jennie and Caz about the upcoming game between Man City and Birmingham City. How you doing, guys?
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Caz. Thanks for joining us to preview this game. I know you're a busy person, and we're really grateful that you could spend a few minutes with us. We're going to start. I'll start off about something that I think is topical. Obviously, we've heard that fans will be allowed back at games at some point, probably in May, but only in big grounds. So, by the signs of things, there might not be any fans up with the women's games. But I want to talk about the FA Cup because we haven't played the FA Cup this season, and my feeling is that we're not going to, because a lot of the smaller clubs below the Championship, they're not playing football right now. So how are they going to squeeze their games in? Could the FA I guess can't extend the season because you've got the Olympics. So I'll ask Caz first. What do you think is going to happen to the FA Cup?
Well, I know the lower leagues are starting back up in the next couple of weeks, so I have no idea what they're going to do. Personally, like you said, I think it will probably be cancelled because it wouldn't be fair on just chucking the WSL and the Championship teams into it, because obviously the teams that are in the lower division who have played in the FA Cup and have got where they are in the FA Cup, it wouldn't be fair on them to just say, look, you can't play because the government has said basically you weren't allowed to play. But then you've had the same problem in the men's, where you've had a couple of lower league teams who weren't training and weren't playing. I think it was Crawley, was it, who hadn't trained for 3 weeks.
In the men's game, I don't know about Crawley. I know.
Yeah, before obviously this round or the round before, there was 3 teams in the lower division where they were actually they couldn't train because obviously the pyramid, but they still managed to, the FA and the government still let them play. So I think it's one rule for one and one rule for another. It's like women's football's just getting left behind again, isn't it? So yeah, I think something needs to be done. But
absolutely. What do you reckon, Jennie? Any chances of it? Some of them somehow squeezing it in?
Well, no, I think the chances of fans being in the ground, the WSL will be all but done anyway at that time. So possibly looking at next season now for watching the clubs. I can't see that they're going to try and fit it in. Like you say, it's not fair on the lower league teams that are not training. And I agree with Caz. It's just WSL being left behind again. One rule for the men, one rule for the women.
Yeah, I, to be honest, I mean, you can't, like Caz says, if they start training again, you can't just say after 2 weeks, right, you're going to play some FA Cup games. You got to give teams a chance, and you think you need till at least beginning of April to be ready to play proper football if you've not played for so long for these teams lower down in the pyramid, and you just can't squeeze that tournament, the FA Cup, into about 6 weeks. I can see the FA might try and do it because if they think there's some money in it or some prestige, or maybe they can get a final at Wembley at some point in May once fans are allowed to go. But I think this season it's going to disappear. But at least we've got some worthy holders of the FA Cup. We'll hold it for as City are. We'll hold it for another few more months into next season. Okay, we had some internationals in the last couple of weeks, so I want to just ask Caz. You've had 2 or 3 players on international duty. I don't know if you've watched the games. Sadly, it's sometimes difficult at the time they're on, as well as some games are not on. They're not available on TV or easily available on TV. So have you had a chance to either watch your games, or how do you feel about, I think, a couple of players that I've noticed, Chloe McCarron and Rebecca Holloway? So
as I was saying, I watched the Northern Ireland England game. I thought the 2 Blues players who played for Northern Ireland did absolutely fantastic, considering who they were up against. Bex Holloway was, for me, one of my outstanding players of that match. She basically tried to stop Lucy Bronze as much as possible. She's so underrated as far as I can see. Like, not that she was the first cap for Northern Ireland. and she's so underrated at the Blues as well. Like nobody ever speaks about her at the Blues. So yeah, she's like obviously one of my favourite players at the minute. And as Chloe's not getting enough game time for Blues at the minute. And the few games I have seen her play, she's been absolutely fantastic. Give her some game time, but she's still not fit. From a different league. So hopefully we'll get to see more of Chloe.
Yeah. Moving on to Jennie. Jennie, we've had a couple of big names in women's football, news about them, and we'll talk about the internationals. Jill Scott, 150 caps for England. Amazing.
Yeah, she's a legend, and you know, we were gutted when she went on loan to Everton, but we could understand why she did it. There's just not enough you can say about her. She's like Jill Scott, like Steph Orton. You know, she's a stalwart in the midfield, and she deserves it because she's been a great ambassador for women's football.
Yeah, and she's got a bit of time left. And the other one, another ambassador in women's football is KB, Karen Bardsley. That was a bit of a surprise to hear that she's leaving.
Yeah, I can sort of see why. You know, she's not that first choice keeper now. So yeah, it's disappointing, but we can understand it.
Yeah, fair enough. And any international, so a couple of players that I have to mention. Ellen White, she scored a hat-trick, and Caroline Weir scored another amazing wonder goal.
Yeah, it seems that the minute that everything Caroline touches, she scores with it, and it always seems to be some sort of a wonder goal. Ellen played really well on Tuesday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, and she deserved the hat trick. I think it's got to help her confidence when we play when she's back at the club.
Yeah.
But yeah, great.
Okay, moving on. I've got a question for Caz. COVID party. Now, look, we know you girls have got to have your parties and you know and everything else, but after everything that's gone on in the last couple of months, to hear last week that 2 Blues players, look like they've broken the lockdown rules and been involved with the party. I mean, how does it make you feel to hear that news about your players?
Well, first of all, we had Dubai Gate, and I was fuming at that. But the 2 of our players to go to a party in lockdown when we've got, I'm going to use Harriet Scott as an example here, who's a student doctor. She goes, I think we had a meeting with Kyra on the other day, and she said Harriet finished surgery at 6 o'clock in the morning and then was at training for 9 o'clock in the morning. So, and you've got 2 players out there going to a party why do you need to go to a party? Like, I don't know if you 2 were at work in lockdown, but I haven't stopped. I know friends that are in care work that haven't stopped. Teachers who don't stop, the NHS haven't stopped. So why do these 2 players, who are privileged, by the way, of getting to go to their football week in, week out, have gone and done that? Because I'm not being funny. If I knew who it was, I'd be telling the club to sack them, because I know if I did it or somebody else did it and my work found out, I'd get the sack. I'm fuming. Like, I was fuming at Dubai Gate. Like, for me, I don't think anybody that went to Dubai should have been in the national squad, because what's that showing young kids? You can break lockdown rules, but you still get praised for it. Yeah, I'm not a happy bunny.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell that. I mean, let's try to talk about something a little bit. Well, I was going to try and lift the mood a bit, but I'm going to talk about that R word. Because if you look at the table, and if you just look at your points, you've got only 11 points. I think Bristol on 6, West Ham are on 8, and then there's somebody else between.
Villa are on 10, I think.
That's it. Are you worried about relegation? I mean, the thing is, I've got to put this out there. You've only played 11 games. The team above you's played 15. So you've only played 11 games. Are you going to be worried about relegation all this season?
The only thing I am worried about, I'm not worried about relegation from a game point of view, because obviously since Kyra's came in, we did, compared to last season, this is like winning the WSL for us with Kyra in charge. But the only problem with me is the Spurs game that we postponed because we didn't have enough players. Now, for me, everybody's like, oh, it'll get replayed. But we all know that the FA do not like Blues at any level. And they want, I think they want a whole Premier League WSL if they could. So the only thing I'm worried about is points deduction. If we get points deducted, then yeah, I think it'll be hard for us. But nah, I'm not. If we don't get points deducted, I'm very confident that we'll finish.
Yeah.
Probably 1 or 2 points, 2 places higher in the league.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think there are a couple of worse teams than in the league. And last one, I'll move on because we're still talking about all these fixture and everything else. Your derby with Villa postponed a few minutes before kick-off. That annoyed a lot of people. For a frozen pitch, and it's once again we're here talking about facilities for women's football. It probably wouldn't have happened in the men's game. It's very unlikely to happen in the top flight in men's. Why is it still happening in the women's game?
As a Blues perspective, I think it's lack of funding. Year in, year out, we always get postponements at the moors. The land's a boggy land, but a frozen pitch. I think Kyra was saying that the referee wanted to call it off at 5 o'clock. And basically, Kyra was trying to get all the heaters and that back onto the pitch to try and get the game going because nobody wanted the game postponed. But yeah, I think what came out in the news as well, that there was a choice to go to St George's Park to play it, but the club wouldn't pay it. Again, it's not just the WSL getting left behind with the FA and everything else. I think we need new ownership in the men, like for the women's game for us to progress. Because I'm not being funny, 500 quid, that's the figure we're looking at. What owner of a men's football club does not have £500? If you did ask on Twitter the fans to raise 500 quid, I think we could have done it within an hour.
Yeah, actually, that's a tweet I put out. I said, why didn't you just pay it? It's 500 quid, and then put a GoFundMe or something out on Twitter. You'd have got the money. You'd have got it from not just Blues fans, but lots of women's fans. Because people said, if we, that's 100 people putting a fiver in. You'd have found that money, no problem.
It's just ridiculous that, like, we always call Man City Cash City because obviously you have thrown money. It's like Chelsea have thrown money around, Arsenal thrown money around. Back in the day, Liverpool threw money around. Birmingham have always been the poor club of the WSL. I'm just kind of hoping that the current owner can bugger off so we can get somebody in that actually appreciates the women's side of the football. 500
quid was it's a bit embarrassing. Jenny, let's talk about something positive and move on the pitch matters. She Believes Cup, we've just had that right now. The USA, as expected, won. I think they played the last game. Was it last night? They won. Was it 6-0? And Rose Lavelle was the player of the tournament. Rose Lavelle, a new signing for us last summer. She's a World Cup winner, best player in the She Believes Cup, and she can't really get into that Manchester City midfield. Is that? I guess it's a show of how much strength we've got in depth.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the midfield, who would you take out to put Rose in? They've all started so well. It's unfortunate because I do like her. I think she's a brilliant player, and I would love to see more of her. I think she was probably a little bit unlucky when she first came, because I think she was injured when she first came, and then she was quarantined as well. And it gave the other players a chance to sort of stamp the claim in that position. But then you look at people like Lauren Emp, who's been injured, and she's managed to come back and get in the team, and rightly so, because she's made goals and she's scored goals. And Rose has done very well when she has come on for us. She's scored on a couple of occasions. But yeah, I would love to see more of her.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? I mean, I don't know the extent of Kyra Walsh's injury. I think she was injured and she couldn't play the internationals. If she's out for a few weeks, is that going to give Rose a chance, or is she? Could it be Laura Coombs or somebody else that comes in?
Well, it could be Rose, or it could be Laura. And Laura has been coming on in games in recent weeks as well. I suppose it all depends on who Gareth feels is the best person for that position. And if it was me, I would probably say it would be Rose. She is the one that would. She's very Kyra Walsh-like player. She can make goals. She can defend if she needs to, and yeah, so I would put her in.
Are we going to catch Chelsea?
Of course we are.
You've got to be positive, haven't you? No, look, let's be honest. We've got a game in hand with 5 points behind. We've got to play Chelsea this season once more. So it's in our hands if we win all our games.
And I think that Chelsea game is going to be the one. If we lose that, then no, we're not. But if we win it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a shame. That's 3 games before the end of the season. There won't be any fans there, which is a massive, massive shame.
I'm just itching to get back to games. It's so hard at the minute, because obviously I live on my own, and watching the games on your own is just not the same.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but it'll be great to get back. I've been seeing our official sports club been putting pictures out from games they've been to, and I look at them and think, well, I wasn't there. And some of them are a few years ago, and you think, yeah, when is it my turn? Because I haven't seen myself in any of those pictures. I don't know if they've.
Yeah, they do keep coming up on my memories, like the Bramall Lane, because I was at that game, and on my memories, and Chelsea game, and you just sit there and you think, oh, if only, it's like, especially because I'm literally around the corner from the ground, and I could go and stand on the main road and possibly see a bit of the game, but obviously I don't. So yeah, just I'm waiting for Man City to tell me I can apply for my season card again, and
That'd be great.
that'll be it.
Yeah, I reckon for myself, I think Dave's just photoshopping me out of any pictures that I was in. I was only in a few. I was in that derby one against Man United, and I can't believe I haven't seen myself at that picture. Anyway, let's move a little bit onto the game. Caz, who do you reckon are your standout players for the weekend's game? Who can make the difference?
Oh, well, I'm going to mention Hannah Hampton. For me, other than Ellie, she's probably the best goalkeeper, English keeper in the league. Harriet Scott is another one. And like I said earlier, to come in from surgery and then go straight to training, you've got to have you've got to be crazy.
Look, guys do it as well. I jogged home from my own vasectomy. Yeah, so guys do it too. Don't worry.
Sarah Merlin is another one. A very versatile player. So underrated. And Claudia Walker. What can I say about Claudia Walker that us Blues fans have not said? How can you go not scoring all season last season and then being the club's top goal scorer? Yeah, whatever Carla's doing with Claudia, I think she's did an amazing job. And finally, people are getting to see the Claudia Walker that I used to watch when she used to play for Liverpool Academy. So, yeah, I'm glad it's finally coming together for Claudia.
Yeah. It's a massive turnaround in a space of less than a season, isn't it, for Claudia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Final question. I'm going to start with the score prediction. So I'll start with Caz. What do you reckon the score's going to be?
Oh, crikey. I'd like to be optimistic and say maybe 2-1 to Man City. But I think you'll probably score more than 2. So maybe I'm going to go 3-1 Man City, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Jenny, what do you reckon?
Well, we always seem to struggle against Birmingham. They're not always as free scoring as some people might expect us to be. I'm going to say 2-1 to City.
Ooh, 2-1.
Caroline, where to score the winner?
I'm glad you didn't say Aoife Mannion then, mine.
Yeah, Aoife was one of yours. I'll go 2-0 City. If I remember rightly, we're not letting too many goals in, and with Ellen White in hot form and Chloe Kelly and Lauren Hemp, and Caroline Weir, we've got some of the best attackers in the league. So I think, and we need to win. So the girls will be busting a gut. We need to win to keep chasing Chelsea for this title. Guys, hope it's a good game at the weekend. Hope everybody comes back safe. And I've got to say to Jenny, as always, thank you so much for coming on. And to Caz, first time on our channel, and it's been a good one. And we've enjoyed you joining in. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.